Hello class, this lesson is going to be going over how to design in Onshape a keychain that will later be 3D printing, and another video will go over exporting it and slicing it and using the 3D printer. But here's some ones from a class from last quarter, so you can get the idea that you can be creative. The only requirement is that you have to have your initials or your name on these, and that way we can kind of identify who did it and get it to you. So that's the assignment. And if this looks hard to you here, I'm going to go over something kind of similar to this, and you can pause the video and do something similar, and then do something custom after that. All right, so that's what we're going to do right now, and I'll be giving you guys the dimensions that I think would be good. And it would be probably a good idea to put your initials in the file name. That way we can know whose it is at a later time when we put it on a shared document. All right, so you can design from the top. That's what I normally do, but this time I'm going to do something different. I'm going to design from the front. So I'm going to hit Sketch, click on the front, and I'll zoom into the front. And so I'm kind of designing from the side at first. So let's say if you wanted your keychain to be, I would say it probably should be less than 1.5 inches long on average, but it's up to you. And how high should it be? I'm going to say 1/4 inch or less. That'd be my recommendation, but it's up to you. On the last one you saw, there was a bit of a profile to it, and I'll just show you that really fast and go over a new command too. Let's say I wanted it to go in here, and let's say this line, I want it to be 1/2 inch. And this line here, maybe that's too much. So I'm going to do a command called mirroring. And when you mirror, you have to have a line to mirror about. So sometimes I will draw a temporary line, like I can snap to the midpoint here and just draw a temporary line. So let me show you how the mirror command works. Before I do that, let me just trim 2 lines here. I'm going to trim this line and this line. So instead of drawing these 2 lines again and dimensioning them, I can just mirror them. So the mirror command is right here. It's right next to offset, which we've gone over. And I'm going to mirror, it says select a mirror line. So I'm going to click this line. And then it says select entities to be mirrored. I'll click on this line and that line. And so that's how mirroring works. I can press the escape key to end that command. And I'll just trim. I could trim this line or delete it. And I'll trim this line and this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude it. So first I'll rotate, and I'm going to say it should probably be 3/4 inch or less, but it's up to you. So actually, I think I should have said probably 1/2 inch, maybe or less. So now I'm gonna go over a new command. All right. So the next new command I want to go over is called the fillet command. With the fillet command, you can type in a dimension here, and you can carefully click on corners like this, and you can adjust with the dimension how much you want the curve to be. Now it's 0.2, so if you have other sides you want to do, you can add them. So I could click on this one. Notice that populated right there. I can rotate, and I can also get this side. But all I can do right now is 0.2. You can't have different ones. Now I could do. Now let me show you what happens if you mess up. Let's say, for example, instead of hitting this line, I accidentally hit this line here. But that's a mistake. I didn't want to do that. You just go up here and hit the X, and that gets rid of the last thing. It's no big deal if you make a mistake. So click on this line, and so that's everything I want to do for 0.2. So I could hit the green checkbox. I could do the fillet again, but this time I want to do this corner and this corner, but I want to do it something different than 0.2. Maybe this one's going to be, what if I did 0.3? Would that be too much? I could change it 0.25. So you can do multiple fillets. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole. I'm going to go ahead and hit sketch. Tell the computer I want to sketch on this surface. And so I'll rotate to the top. Right, so I'm at the top, and I'm just going to draw a circle. And I want it to be about that big. I'll put some dimensions on. First, make this be an even number, about 0.2. And I'll dimension this circle, left click here, and I'll left click the top line here. And I'll make sure that it's midway, which in my case would be 1/4 of an inch. And once I have that, I can then go to extrude. But now, instead of hitting add, I'm going to hit remove. And if it's going the wrong way or something, you can hit this button, but it's probably going to work for you by just clicking remove. And so that's done. Now, you know what the fillet command is. The chamfer is similar. It takes sharp edges off things. It's used a lot in manufacturing. So if I do 10,000ths of an inch, maybe I want to have this have a bit of a chamfer, as well as the other side here. And I'll go ahead and do a chamfer on that line, as well as this line, maybe all along there. Again, it's just taking off that sharp edge. So that's done. Next thing I'm going to do is do some text. So I'm going to click on sketch. I'm on my third sketch now. I'm going to do it on this surface. So I click on that. Here's my text tool. And I'm going to hold down my left mouse button and just kind of draw a window about where I want it to be. Now, when we were plasma cutting or laser cutting, I told you to use this Stencil Tool because it's really good when you cut things out. But this time you can use any of these fonts because we're not going to necessarily cut through it. So you could pick whatever you want, and you can type your name, your initials, but it's got to be something that can get this back to you. If I do the checkbox, you can see that it's there, but it's too big. So how can I fix that? Well, if I double click the, let's see, I want to show you something here. If you want to resize it, that's easy. Just the dimension tool, click on this line here, and I could type in a smaller dimension. That's how I could do it. If you want to move it around, then you have to click add dimensions in, and that's how I move it up or down. So you can just play with these numbers until you get it where you want. And I can put on another dimension even from right here to right here. And so by using dimensions, that's how you can control where the text is. Right, so let's say if I like that, then I'm going to hit the green checkbox. So now what I want to do is I could click on Sketch 3 and I could go to Extrude. And you have a choice now. You could have the letters come in or go out. So I could have it be where they pop out a little bit, or I hit this button here. Actually, that's not the right thing to do. Or click Remove, and then it would be going in. I have to click this opposite direction. So by clicking Add or Remove, and then clicking this arrow for the opposite direction, you can get it. You can get it how you want. So I'll do that, and maybe on the other side, I could do some text too on the bottom. So I'll just go ahead and do another sketch on this surface. And maybe what I'll have here is put a phone number, what if your keys got lost? Let's try a different font here. Let's see this one. But you don't have to do that. I'm just doing an example here. I don't know why it comes in so big there. But anyways, we'll just add some dimensions and make this work. So then on this one, I'm going to go over to the extrude button without hitting the green checkbox. It's just a bit faster. And this time, I'm going to have the letters, I can have them pop out a little bit. So I do 20 thousandths, like that. So that's an example of doing a keychain. You could design the same keychain 5 different ways. More from the top plane, lots of ways to do it, but at least you have a basic idea. And don't forget that at any time, you can go in and make a change to your sketch. Sometimes it'll cause some errors. So if I go into sketch 1 here, and maybe I decide it's kind of, I don't really want it to be 1/4 of an inch. I'd like it to be less than, you can add a dimension in if you want. Sometimes if I click it here, if I do go to 0.8, I have to come back over here and make some adjustments here, which is no big deal. So my point is that you can change things. I could dimension these two lines and have this be 0.04. So quick trim here. When you do make changes, you might have to do some things. So if I do the green checkbox, let's see what happens here. And so you can see that I made a change, and with not too much trouble, I was able to make this thing be less thick. So anything on here, you can go in and make a change. Fillet 1, for example, I could say I want this to be a little more, so I'll put a 5 there. But if you type in a giant number, it might go red and you can't do it. But that's how it works with Onshape for the keychain. But do your own design. Don't forget, there's lots of opportunity to be original and make something cool. Could even be a present for somebody. So good luck with that, and send me a private text if you need help, and I'm happy to do that. All right. Thanks for watching.